Hello and welcome. My name is Zaffar Iqbal and you are watching the Mojo story. The government has directed the newly elected Wrestling Federation of India panel to suspend all its activities. Now, this followed after concerns were raised by wrestler Sakshi Malik. She broke on the live television. She declared her retirement from the sport. Now, the government says that the upcoming junior national competitions, the move that was done in haste by the new federation, and the government has also raised concern about the Wrestling Federation of India's apparent control by former office bearers. Now, this comes after Sanjay Singh, an aide of former WFI chief Braj Bhushan Sharan Singh, succeeded him in the elections that were conducted. So, to discuss this, we're joined by a prominent sports journalist, Shada Ugra. Welcome to the show, Shada. Were you surprised when you heard that this development has taken place in the morning, or this was on expected lines?
No, not at all, Zafar. Thanks for having me here. It was very astonishing, surprising, and it's in a way, a very straight and a firm decision. There are sort of
Yeah.
many other panels in it, but they've said basically, ये जो power आपको मिला है ना election का, you don't have it anymore. It is suspended. Please behave. Go by the sports code. Now we've
Yeah.
seen the sports code often is taken quite lightly by sports federations, but this is a message, very, very big and a very strong message that
Yeah.
has gone out saying you cannot do this because you are not following procedure. Now, the fact that Indian sports federations don't follow any procedure, वो तो दूसरी बात है, but the fact that this has happened, it's a welcome decision, and we'll see how this story plays out over the next few days.
And this message was very important at this point in time, given what we saw on the TV. The stars of this country, Sakshi Malik, saying that she's retiring from the sport on live television. You can see from those visuals, and then Bajrang Punia going and saying that he's going to return the Padma Shri and going to give it back to the Prime Minister. Now, those visuals of those boots on the table by Sakshi Malik, obviously they have an impact. People watch all those visuals, and this is a step in the right direction by the government at this point in time. This is what had to be done.
Yes, because I think that the two things that happened one after the other, Sakshi almost breaking down on camera and saying she's quitting, and she had said that if this happens, it had just even before the election results came, there was some news that she said that look, if this goes the way of Brij Bhushan Saran Singh's people, I'm going to stop competing. Vinesh said that there's no justice in this country. I don't know how to get justice. Very, very strong messages coming from champion athletes. If these were chota mota athletes, nobody would have paid attention, not the media, not the government. It's unfair all the same. But the point is that the almost top performers of their sport have come out and done these things. And Bajrang saying कि ये लीजिए आपका Padma Shri, I do not want it. I'm returning it because my fellow athletes have been treated badly and there's no justice for them. Very, very strong messages. And honestly, as a sports journalist, I did not think that there would be such an immediate response from the government in this way. But Zafar, you must also remember that India has aspirations and dreams of hosting the 2036 Olympic Games. And the Indian Olympic Association wo to hai jaisa hai. But imagine that your athletes are saying this and doing this and the world is watching. We saw our wrestlers being carried away by the police, manhandled, thrown to the ground. All these messages go out to the world. If you want to be seen as a country which respects and appreciates sports, you do not want this happening to your champion athletes. And I think this is also a little bit of that has played its part, saying, look, this story is just going out of control of us if our athletes keep doing these. There was a para wrestling champion also who said, Vijender Singh, I think his name is, he said, I'm returning my medal in support of in support of Sakshi and of Bajrang and Vinesh. So you're seeing this happening, and who knows where it could have escalated and how it could have gone. This seems to be a sort of okay. Let's take a breath here and let's see how what else can be done to. What I found even more astonishing is that the government is saying that look. People from the earlier body are having control on this. This is a fact that takes place in every sports federation. That is basically factions that are controlling various parts of it. and a ruling faction doesn't give its power up very easily, which was going to happen in the case remote control of Bajrang of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh would have continued, and a note has been taken off it. I mean, it's quite a surprising and it's quite a good decision, you have to say.
Remote control of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. That's an important point. That was the point that was raised, that how does it matter? He's not there, his aide is there. Office bearers are the same. They will be controlled by him from his own place. So how that was the main point. There was some sort of an understanding that it's not going to happen. He will not be there, neither will be his aides. But that didn't happen. Apparently, it was his close associate. You can see from those visuals also who was there.
Yeah, and the vote went, I think, 40 to 9 or something like that. That's what the final figure was. And in that executive body or as office bearers, only two belong to the group that that Bajrang Vinesh and Sakshi and all the other wrestlers were supporting. There were only two people there. They were not invited to this supposed meeting where they announced junior nationals ho jayenge. And please also note that the junior nationals were to take place in Gunda, which is literally very close to Brij Bhushan's constituency. It's also, and we must also realize that the way in which these nationals are held, there is no semblance of respect or dignity given to the athletes that are there. I mean, there are photographs on the internet that will show you that if a proper organization holds an event, what it looks like, and if this wrestling federation of Gonda, whatever it is, when they hold an event, what that plays out like. So that whole amateurish, slightly cowboy way of functioning, ke bhai, this is akhara and this is how we do it, that has suddenly they put a stop to it. And junior nationals, remember, these are under 17, under 15, under 13 kids that are going there. And do you think that the message that they're not going to get, them and their parents and their coaches from the grassroots, the message that's not going to be given to them is that don't behave like, don't dream of even standing up to Brij Bhushan. We remember that horrible poster that was put up, Dabdaba hai, Dabdaba rahega, Bhagwan ki deen hai. What is all this, So there, yeah, that's the visual that's showing. So
Dabdaba to rahega.
Yes. And I said, ye to Bhagwan ne de rakha hai. I said, like, what? Is this the divine right of kings? So all the optics around the celebration of this victory was so over the top and so overblown that it just looked bad. Previously somebody said, bhai, they have suspended opposition people. They don't care about athletes. And this is very obviously a definite thing to show that, look, there has to be some control over this madness that is going on in terms of the celebration and dabdaba and all the rest of it.
Right. And now we're getting reactions from Sakshi and from others. And let's first hear what she had to say.
अभी आज ये न्यूज़ चल रही है, मुझे आप सबके माध्यम से, मीडिया के माध्यम से पता चली है। अभी मुझे पूरी जानकारी भी नहीं है, क्या सिर्फ संजय सिंह निलंबित हुए हैं या पूरी फेडरेशन ही रद्द कर दी। हाँ, तो वो अभी मेरे पास ना पुख्ता सबूत नहीं है, सिर्फ आप लोग बस दिखा रहे हो, लेकिन कुछ रिटर्न में अभी आया नहीं है। और जो भी होगा वो मैं आगे आप सबके साथ ज़रूर बात करूँगी। और रही बात दूसरी, मैंने कल रात भी ट्वीट किया था, मैं 2 दिन से परेशान हूँ। जब से लेटर निकला है कि नंदी नगर कंपटीशन करवाया जाएगा, तो मुझे वही सदमे में हूँ, वही बातें याद आ रही है कि दोबारा से वही नंदी नगर में कंपटीशन और लखनऊ में कैंप। तो मैं उन बच्चियों के लिए काफ़ी परेशान हूँ, काफ़ी दुखी हूँ, क्योंकि मेरे पास कॉल्स भी आई बच्चियों की रात को कि दोबारा से वहीं पे, तो मैं इस चीज़ को लेके काफ़ी परेशान हूँ।
अभी जो सरकार ने जो कार्रवाई की उसको आप किस तरह से देखती हैं?
पहले तो पुख्ता सबूत नहीं है कि ऑन रिटर्न नहीं आया है कि फेडरेशन रद्द हुई है या सिर्फ संजय सिंह को रद्द किया जा रहा है, तो रद्द किया गया है। तो जैसा भी मुझे प्रॉपर तरीके से पता चलेगा मैं आपके साथ जरूर बातचीत करूँगी।
आगे की रणनीति क्या है आपकी? अभी क्या इंतजार क्या कर रही हैं, आगे क्या करेंगी?
इंतजार यही है कि पुख्ता सबूत मिल जाए, रिटर्न में पता चल जाए कि क्या चीज़ रद्द हुई है, फेडरेशन है या संजय सिंह रद्द हुए हैं। तो जैसा भी होगा फिर आगे।
इस बयान के बाद ब्रिज भूषण शरण सिंह ने पीसी की और कहा है कि मैं अब कुश्ती से संन्यास ले चुका हूं, मेरा अगला कदम लोकसभा चुनाव है। इस पर क्या कुछ कहेंगे?
देखो, वो उनका पॉलिटिकल है, वो उनका एजेंडा है, लेकिन हमारी जो लड़ाई है वो सरकार से की, और ना आगे रहेगी। हमारी लड़ाई सिर्फ एक आदमी से थी, हमारी लड़ाई जो है महिलाओं के लिए थी, फेडरेशन में जो बेटियां हैं, जो नए रेसलर्स हैं, उनके लिए थी। और बस ये लड़ाई हम लड़ रहे हैं अपने तरीके से, जैसे भी है। मैं तो संन्यास का मैंने अनाउंस किया है, और बस यही चाहूंगी कि जो आने वाली बेटियां हैं, बच्चे हैं, उनको न्याय
क्या
मिले।
साक्षी मलिक संन्यास वापस लेंगी? क्या संन्यास वापस लेंगी?
अभी मैंने बताया है, जैसा भी आगे होगा वो मैं फिर आपको बता दूंगी।
भूषण का कहना है कि मैं संजय सिंह को नहीं जानता हूं।
Right. So she's saying that she has sort of retired from the sport, but their fight will continue for the wrestlers and they will ensure that the wrestlers get their rights. But you can see that there is some sort of a relief in the sense that things have moved a bit. At least there has been a suspension that has clearly been ordered. But Sharda, the grounds were quite different. They're saying that have to give 15 days notice for the nationals to be held. It's just a few days of notice, and that was not done. There are other technical grounds on which this suspension was really carried out.
Yeah, you're right, Zaffar. So when I read the news of what had happened, what the reasons were, it sounded to me a lot like, you're catching Al Capone for tax evasion. That's what you've done, in the sense of that. That's how you got around this basically this problem. A couple of things to note here fundamentally is that there are no women in the new committee that was been elected, formed, whatever. No women, zero. And that Sakshi herself said that she had received phone calls from younger athletes who were a little bit worried, younger wrestlers who were worried. Now, let's remember that the first formal complaints were made around more than 12 formal complaints were there. Now the number is down to, I think, about 6. And that included complaints from minors. So what the government has done in the form of saying, look, we suspended the federation. We have done what we could within our remit, because the Wrestling Federation is an autonomous body, and so on and so forth. But what you're seeing here is the absolute absence of a mechanism to check all harassment stories of harassment, abuse, and sexual bullying of young athletes. There is no mechanism that was there, that was looked at. So had this Wrestling Federation of India being a properly functioning federation, or had the Indian Olympic Association being a properly functioning national Olympic body, it would have had a group of people capable enough to tell these wrestlers, come to us, we will look at the problem, and then pass orders for the rest, basically through IOA rule, through International Olympic Committee rules, to say that this is what you have to do. This person has to go, this person has to go, this person has to go, you have to do this. Now we've seen that but there was nothing of the sort. So this is literally just ke kisi ko aa gaya ke bhai kuch karo, it's looking really bad for us. So just do something to stop this, dabdaba kind of celebration that is going on. And that's why you have found what are absolutely valid reasons for dismissing them. So you didn't follow this, and this. But you also didn't follow the rules in January when the case came up. You saw that the committee was not, the federation was not properly sort of manned to have an internal complaints committee about abuse in the workforce and so on. So none of that was there. So you could have taken much stricter steps earlier. This is a pretty tough step that has been taken to start with, whether it's just to buy time and to have temperatures sort of slightly reduce and the story go away almost from the news cycle. That we'll find out in a week or so, I think.
Right. In the meantime, former Wrestling Federation of India chief Braj Bhushan Sharan Singh has spoken. He has said that he is done with the sport. He is no longer associated with the sport, and he'll take up many more responsibilities to look into, including next year's Lok Sabha election. Let's hear what he had to say.
भुइहार बिरादरी के हैं, यानी कि मेरे वो रिश्तेदार नहीं है। आनन फानन में पुरानी कमेटी को एक निर्णय लेना पड़ा, अंडर 15 और 20, क्योंकि 31 दिसंबर को इनका ये सत्र समाप्त हो जाएगा। उसके बाद अगर ये टूर्नामेंट होता है तो उनका 1 साल खराब हो जाएगा। इसलिए सारी फेडरेशनों ने मिलकर ये फैसला लिया कि किसी तरीके से खेल का एक वातावरण शुरू हो। और नंदिनी नगर में इसलिए रखा गया क्योंकि हर फेडरेशन के लोगों ने हाथ खड़ा कर दिया कि 4-5 दिन के अंदर हम कोई व्यवस्था नहीं कर सकते। उस मीटिंग में एक तरीके से मेरे विदाई का जैसे परंपरा होती है, कोई अध्यक्ष रहता है और तो उसको एक तरीके से जब वो छोड़ता है अपना कार्यकाल तो एक विदाई समझ लीजिए और 2-4 शब्द बोलना पड़ता है। तो इस नाते मैं भी वहां पर गया था और ये बच्चों का 15 साल के बच्चों का और 20 साल के बच्चों का साल खराब ना जाए और खेल का वातावरण फिर से शुरू हो, इसलिए नंदिनी नगर में इसे कराने का फैसला आम सहमति से लिया गया। 25 के 25 फेडरेशनों ने अपनी लिखित और मौखिक दोनों सहमति दे रखी।
Right. There you heard him actually saying that all the procedures were followed, that he handed over the baton to the new body and they carried out the work. It was very important that time did not get waste. That's what actually Sanjay Singh had also said, that he said that it was done, that we wanted to do all this in the same calendar year. In fact, he was also asked about the same when this announcement was made. This is what Sanjay Singh had to say.
देखिए, अभी मैं फ्लाइट में था, अभी मुझे बहुत डिटेल पता नहीं और उसका लेटर मुझे नहीं मिला है। वो लेटर लेने के बाद मैं उसको देख लेता हूँ, फिर बताता हूँ मैं उस पर आगे क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है। बस अभी कोई कमेंट नहीं, अभी कोई कमेंट नहीं। पहले मुझे देख लेने, केवल एक सुनने में जो आया कि एक्टिविटी पे मेरे रोक लगाया है, तो अब क्या एक्टिविटी पे रोक लगाया है क्या नहीं है तो उसको मैं अभी देख लेता हूँ, उसके बाद करता हूँ। अभी कोई कमेंट नहीं, केवल एक्टिविटी पे जो सुनने में आया कि एक्टिविटी पे रोक लगाया गया है। WFI जो भी है, अभी कोई कमेंट नहीं है। इसके बाद मैं लेटर अपना देख लेता हूँ क्या क्या है क्या नहीं, उसके बाद मैं कमेंट करता हूँ। धन्यवाद। अभी नो कमेंट किसी साक्षी मलिक किसी पे कोई कमेंट नहीं।
एक्टिविटी पे रोक लगाया है, but still seems to be in a celebratory mood. The point is that besides the messaging, Shada, what are the implications? What will happen here on? Will he have the right to appeal this move, and will everything be considered null and void, and there will be new elections? And if they will happen, will he contest as being an aide of a former, president of WFI, or what's going to happen? A new set of people will come and they will contest the election.
There's no predicting where this is going to go, because the government stepping in and suspending this body is almost like a move that is seen as an interference by the government into sports bodies, which normally they get very, very precious about and they shout autonomy. But with this move, it's been absolute silence, and it's like, okay, word has come upar se, so now we cannot do anything about it. There's no knowing where Sanjay Singh himself will go, because under legal, I suppose, constitutional rules as there are, that you cannot stop anybody from standing for any office if the basic qualification criteria are met. I think we are seeing that they're trying to sell this to say what both Brijbhushan said and Sanjay Singh, the audio was a bit patchy for me, is that we are trying to make sure that the wrestlers don't get affected. Now, the point is, there are some young wrestlers who have said that they've had very bad experiences with you. What about that kind of them not getting affected by your conduct or your behavior? That's seen as an extra thing, that it's fiction and it didn't happen. It's just imagine. The United World of Wrestling, which is the world body that rules, that has authority over WFI and can suspend it for not having elections, which is what it had done, has not yet responded and to the move and said, look, this is right and this is wrong. And I think in the case of Olympic athletes preparation and so on, internationally, I think the body sports bodies now understand when there are problems with governance in various countries differently, and they try and make sure that athletes are looked after, as in their interests are served well. But that does not mean that if, say, Vinesh is stopped from competing or Bajrang is stopped from competing, that UWW can do anything about it. If they are able to compete and they have access to go and compete in Paris next year, the Wrestling Federation of India is still de-recognized and unofficial, they will compete outside of the Indian flag. That's an established sort of practice. Now, that is what really bothers sports federations, that there is this freedom given to athletes to participate outside their control, and it'll be interesting to see how this case plays out with the United World Wrestling, because I think what happened during when the police came and manhandled, Delhi police came and there were those photographs and everything, that was a big setback for WFI, for the government, in terms of what the image that was being put out. The Olympic committee was having its meeting in Mumbai, and those pictures were in all the papers. So I think there is also some move to see that kind of image can be changed and mended, and see if there's any, maybe they will set up, this is my absolute top of the head, no from nowhere kind of prediction, maybe they'll set up an ad hoc body to look after wrestling till a new committee is formed, where there are women in it and there are proper procedures put in. But this is a dream sort of scenario I'm suggesting. But who knows where this will go. I think this is a first for the government itself also, to see how they can handle a situation like this.
Right, no predictions what's going to happen, but this move clearly diffused the situation, both domestically as well as at the internationally, on other levels also. This was required, and it was required to be done promptly. That's why it was done in this manner.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm just very amused by the Sports Ministry's declaration that that ex officio people are in control of the situation. I hope this kind of attention and care is taken to all. I hope the Indian Olympic Association sits up and notices what has happened and makes a statement in itself and says what the government has done is right or it's wrong. We'll see about that. But otherwise, it's what's happened is it's come at the right time. It's come in the right way, and hopefully something meaningful will happen. Hopefully it's not just cosmetic surgery.
I think they must have thought about it, what's going to happen next. They must have always factored in all those things and how it's to be taken to the logical conclusion. But for now, thanks so much for joining us on this very important story. We'll keep a track of this story. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for watching the Mojo Story.
Thank you, Zaffar.
Mojo Story has always made a commitment to its viewers to go to where the story is. And as you can see here, we are at the epicenter of the Israel war on Gaza. We are right at the front line, about 1 mile from the Gaza Strip, as the Israeli military gets ready with its tanks and its gunners to begin its final frontal assault that will take troops into Gaza. As we said, we are not like other organizations. We believe in giving you all sides of the story objectively and as much as possible from the ground. And that's exactly what we're doing here, covering the biggest global story today from the epicenter of the war zone. So please, we need your support. Support us, become a Mojo member, subscribe to us, spread the word, and thank you for your support.